Welcome to Cooking the Books, the food and hospitality podcast discussing all aspects of the industry. We interview chefs, butchers, brewers, winemakers, restaurateurs, restaurant managers, and we talk about how they got to this point, through the good times and the bad, and what they've got planned for the future. This is Cooking the Books. This week on the podcast, I had Jeff Claudio. Jeff was a chef that I met about 10 years ago in Sydney. We both worked in Sydney, and I just wanted to quickly tell you a little story about Jeff. I'd never met Jeff before, and like I said, I just moved to Sydney, and my knives got sent over from England, and they were in customs in quarantine, so I couldn't have any knives, so I couldn't do any stages. So another one of my good friends of mine, Tom Anglesey, was working with Jeff at Rockpool, the original Rockpool, and he mentioned to Jeff, me mate's here and he's got no knives and whatnot. And Jeff, we'd never even met. He just lent me his whole knife case so I could go and do some work trials. So he lent me his knife case, and I went and did a trial and got the job. And I lent his knife case for like 3 days, and then my knives arrived, and I give him his knife case back. But that's the kind of guy we're talking about. He didn't know me from Adam, and yet he lent me his whole knife case. Jeff is one of the best guys I've ever met, one of the nicest, genuine, humble guys I've ever met. But he's also one of the biggest jet setters I've also ever met. Since knowing Jeff for 10 years, this is where he's worked in Toronto, Vancouver, London, New York, Singapore, Denmark, Hong Kong. He now lives in Berlin, consults in a restaurant in Paris, and this weekend in London, he's got a burger pop-up called Rosita's Deluxe. So if you're in London and you're near Giant Steps, or you know where Giant Steps is in Swan's Wharf, all weekend from 12 till 9 p.m, you can find Jeff doing his burger pop-up, or alternatively, just look on Instagram on Rosita Deluxe or Jeff Claudio, and you'll find him. And you should go down and check out his burgers. This guy's one of the most talented chefs there is around. He's worked for everyone. He's worked everywhere. So this is a conversation we just had. I just called him. We haven't caught up for a lot of years. We keep missing each other. And I said, I'm gonna record it and maybe turn it into a podcast. He was cool with that. So it's a semi-podcast, just a conversation, catch up. So it's a little bit different, and I hope everyone likes it. This week, as always, we are brought to you by City Larder, the charcuterie specialists, specialising in terrines, pâtés and rillettes. City Larder are now taking on new stockists in the build-up to Christmas. If you're interested in stocking Australia's finest charcuterie in your retail store or food service business, you can get in touch with Rebecca via the website or social media. Now, over to the show. How are you finding Berlin?
It's good. Yeah, it's good, Robbie. I think you'd like it. It's nice. It's definitely, like, if you were to say, like, on a volume scale, like Hong Kong is like 12, here's like 6. So it's super chill. It's nice though. Like, I'm really enjoying the kind of quiet time and stuff. So yeah. And you have like time to think, and yeah, it's good. It's a really, really nice city. Yeah, really nice city.
Yeah, so. It's great. It created a mad history. Yeah, mad history in Berlin. Fucking.
It has some darkness to it.
Yeah, for sure. Some of our friends, especially with the wall and all the rest of it, like far out. I remember when the wall come down, Jeff. I remember that on the news and everything. I remember that as clear as day. It was massive in Europe.
It's pretty crazy though when you think about it. It's only like 30 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
When it came down, so it's not that long ago. And the crazy thing about the wall coming down and not being so long ago, it's like you have this city where on one side it's, you see all these like really beautiful, nice architecture, old buildings, and then one side it's like these vacant lots with a lot of buildings, and you can see that they're kind of a 90s architecture and build, like, and then you have all these kind of architecture of buildings when they were built during this time, and they're all just the same down a whole street. just how they build stuff in East Berlin. Like, it's just really
like
boom,
Eastern
boom.
Europe,
Like, yeah,
Eastern European kind of style, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's crazy. So visually, it has this really interesting
so what
dynamic
took
to the city.
what took you there? Was it a lady? Was it the lady?
Yeah. So my girlfriend, she's she went to university here, and look, it was.
Is she German?
It wasn't. She's German, but
Yeah.
she grew up like a little. I think it's like half an hour outside of Hamburg.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it was just I visited here, and it was it was so nice, and obviously it was super difficult. Like when we were living apart, I was in Hong Kong, and then she was here, and just seeing each other like every month or a couple months. So
yeah, it's no good.
I thought it was nice. I had the freedom, like obviously with the job, like you're able to just kind of go here, go there. So, and I found it very, like I found it interesting. Like it's an interesting place here. So.
Yeah, awesome for charcuterie, isn't it? For sure. There's heaps of charcuterie in Germany, for sure. Sausages and hams and, braises and all that. I love it.
Man, it's the land of emulsified sausages.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Like,
especially like if you go like on especially like Alsace, up on. I know Alsace is actually it's France, where France joins Germany. Is that right? Fuck, I hope that's right. I think is that right?
Yeah. Like I mean, like it. There was a time when part of that was German. That's what I actually been there.
I've never been, but I've been told if you want charcuterie, that's the fucking place to go. Like it's got the right mix between the German and the French. You know what I mean? Like the great sausages and the charcuterie of France, and it's meant to be unbelievable.
It's pretty amazing. Like these shops are just like, it seems like whatever shop you go into, like it's just all beautiful, technical, like terrines and all this sausage making and like. Yeah, but it's like you said, it's like that perfect blend of, because the French, they love artisanal
exactly
kind of things, and
exactly.
I think a lot more than Germans for sure. Like when it comes to like cooking, it's interesting though. It's interesting though culturally. Like it is definitely like nothing to take.
I love talking about that. I love
Germans.
I love talking about that. Like you say, culturally, I've been, with the podcast and things, I've been doing heaps and heaps of like talking to people about different stuff, and history being one of them, as in like how chilies got to Africa, India, and how meat got to Mexico.
That's crazy.
And it's just, that's all crazy. But then also when you look at food, as in like, the different areas with temperature, as in like fermenting, let's say, for instance, Scandinavia, there's a lot more fermenting there because, and Poland, like if there was no fucking fermenting, you're going to have no fucking food. Do you know what I mean? It's pretty simple. Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly. And the crazy thing is, like a lot of parts of the New World, there's obviously like foods that, especially I would say, for example, like say, Texas barbecue, like or the country hams. Like I think the general belief of like, say if you're someone in America and you think it's your heritage, but actually it dates back to the Germans or people in Eastern Europe that were like smoking their meats, and then they brought it over to America and introduced it. But then it's funny how in America they think it started there. It's like, we started this and 120 years ago by my family, but then it's like it just started there.
You think
like,
Europe's been going like 5,000 years longer, like what you think they didn't think of that. It's crazy. It's so, but like now I really feel like Australia now, Jeff, is actually like starting to come slowly between some chefs, and is now starting to get in touch with the indigenous people, like the Aboriginals and all the rest of it, and now that's slowly starting to get it. There's a few chefs. There's obviously Ben Shuri, he's a big mover and shaker in it, but there's another one that I think he's Scottish actually, or English, and he's actually got a restaurant that's really working with him. I think I think it might be called Jock or something like that. It's called here. I think he's here in Victoria, and they're really starting to push hard on that and getting in, going to the elders and the aunties, and learning how to properly cook the ingredients.
Jock Zonfilo.
Yeah,
Jock
that's him.
Zonfilo yeah.
Yeah. So these
Yeah.
people are actually like, so
Yeah.
like Noma with what they did in Copenhagen, and starting to go down that traditional. Now there's guys here that are really slowly. You're fully aware of that, but it's very interesting the way I think in the next 10 or 15, 20 years, Australia will start getting its own proper identity, Like at the moment, Australian food is really like, you could put it under the category of fusion, almost Asia, like or Australasian. You could put it in under any of these kind of mix between, Thai, Vietnamese, Japanese, Chinese with Australian.
Exactly.
That's how Australian cuisine is actually like. Under the heading, really. That's what it's the headings under, really, where now people are slowly getting into actually the proper, like the real ingredients, in the outback, in the bush, the berries and all the rest of it, and cooking in between bark and the way the indigenous people used to do. And then that's really what the cuisine is, not this Chinese mix, which I'm not knocking, don't get me wrong, but it's not the true footprint of the food that is actually from Australia. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing though when you think about it. Like, I guess when we were there together living in Sydney, like when did we? That was like 10 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, it was 10 years ago. It was 10
more.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that, and it's so crazy to think about the food that we were cooking back then, and to how it's evolved to like food now. Obviously, like it's crazy how fast things change, but I guess you can attribute that to like technology and how we're all connected now with like Instagram, and how everything's visual. Like we can see something in the work that people are doing, like quick. But
and which is amazing. And look, I couldn't agree with you more. But I had this conversation last week with someone, I can't remember who it was, but how sometimes, not everyone, and obviously the greats are the greats, but there is other people that I can't help thinking that some of that food that you see isn't what it is. It looks great, but like there's just nothing to it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not bagging it or being it. Or, I think people sometimes are getting what food is, as in like hospitality. All right, it's an art and this, that, the other, but I feel like ultimately you're feeding people, and it's an art. That is the art. The hospitality of the food game is a bit more important than it looking great on the plate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing about food, though. Like, I guess I still believe there's two worlds. There's there's the world of food, that aesthetic, and that saying that people say you eat with your eyes, but that's why I like now. Like, there's things, the ugly delicious thing that David Chang came out with, because a lot of the times food's not beautiful, but it's so delicious, So
yeah, for sure.
But I totally know what you mean. It's like almost like couture and just clothes that you wear every day. Like
it's funny you should
stuff like that. So
yeah, it's funny you should reference clothes, because I say this all the time as well. And I don't know if I've said this to you before, where I feel like the Nomas and these and some and these really top places are like are like the top end catwalk. Do you know what I mean? Like like the real like New York catwalk, everyone or Milan or wherever it might be, and everyone's looking at these and they're like, oh, look at that line, look at that design, look at them stitching, look at the way that they've cut that cloth or whatever. But then then like fucking Top Man or whatever it might is gets that one piece and then puts that into a mass, for the mass public who can afford to go and pay $50 instead of fucking $500. Do you know what I mean? And that's how food goes. And like you've got the trailblazers, like the guys with the Hestons and the Ferran Adrias and the Rene Redzepis and the Ben Shuris and all these, but it's not what everyone can do. There can only be so many of them. Do you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah. I totally know what you mean. Like, yeah, there has to be like a Balenciaga, there has to be like a Celine, and then there has to be like an H&M, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's kind of for because the way that I see things now, it's like there's the 10% of us that are super passionate and understand the way food is brought together and how special it is, and
Yeah.
this is the food world is directly relatable to like other arts and, people that are, being creative and making products like, but yeah, I totally know what you mean. Like, it's just, yeah, there has to be kind of these people that kind of push the envelope and kind of set the bar for people that aren't the basics, because, the 80 or 90% of the people on the face of the earth are just, I don't know, like basic people like that just aren't interested in that kind of stuff. They want, a 6-piece fried chicken for €3, like,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, but it's just appreciation and perspective and all that. Like, and I think you have to appreciate kind of and understand both sides. Some people can't afford it, and so
exactly. And it's trying to fit in that middle. And you know what I'm really getting into right now, Jeff, more than probably anything is I don't want to say healthy eating, because I'm by no means am I healthy eat. I don't watch my weight, and I do eat too much and all these kind of things. But what I am trying to do is, like, I won't buy meat from the supermarket. I don't buy white sliced bread anymore. I don't buy ham out of a packet. I don't eat sugar.
It's just eating. I wouldn't say cleaner, but you're just more aware of the products that you're sourcing and kind of putting in your body and stuff like that.
Honestly, like now that I am really trying my hardest to do that, like proper honey from a real honey supplier, vegetables from the farmer's market, and like really going out of my way to try and do that, like it's not easy, and sometimes it's not more expensive. But I just had this massive conversation. My dad's got gout in his leg, and
oh, that's a terrible thing.
Yeah,
that's a terrible thing.
And the fucking doctors, and the doctors have said to my mum and dad, right? I had this conversation today. It's one of my favourite topics, and I fucking go on about it, and it blows my lid, my cholesterol, my fucking blood pressure goes high, and everything. I start getting real wound up about it. But like I am, So they're like, my mum's like, the doctor said we should cut down on bacon sandwiches. I was like, bacon sandwiches? Like, how many bacon sandwiches do you eat? And they're like, what they're like, one a week. I was like, one bacon sandwich, like, cut down to like none. So I was like, how many rashers?
None.
They're like, how many rashers of bacon do you put in this bacon sandwich? Like, like 3 or 4 rashers. I was like, right, okay, so that's maximum 150 grams of bacon. Like, I'm not joking. If you think 150 grams of bacon once a week is causing gout in your fucking leg, you're dreaming. Like, you're totally dreaming. And I said, and then I said, what do you have? Let's put it this way. What do you have in your, how do you make your bacon sandwich? He said, we get 2 slices of bread. I said, right, what bread do you use? Just bread from the shop. I said, right, you tell me the ingredients to bread, and water, yeast, salt, olive oil, if you put a little bit of oil. It's like half a dozen ingredients maximum, if you put in seeds in it or you put in whatever. I said, go and grab the bread. And we're on FaceTime. I said, go and grab the bread and read me the thing. And, there must be like 20 ingredients. No exaggeration. I mean, 20 ingredients. It's fucking ridiculous. And I said, what, you think the bacon is giving you fucking problems, or the shit bread that you're fucking eating, or the shit packaged fucking meals that you eat? You know what I mean? Like, and you've got the doctor telling them that it's the fucking bacon. Like, how can it be the bacon?
No,
do you know what I mean?
A little bit of bacon doesn't hurt you, but yeah, I'd say it's I think.
It's the fucking crisps. It's the crisps. It's the.
We eat a lot of bad carbohydrates and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if it is like getting older. Like, I'm way more aware of eating kind of things like that, like bread, and like it's doesn't digest the same way when you're like 22.
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like, you eat a big sandwich with like plain white shitty bread. Next thing you know, you're wondering why, your stomach's hurting. But like, you just, like our bodies, definitely, because no one tells us this, and you grow up, where we grew up. I know that we were eating some pretty fucked up food, like growing up, because parents just have to like make do, so
again this goes back to education. Like, this drives me mad as well, the sense of like schools are teaching you to like memorize the fucking square root of this, or the what this fucking sodium does with this fucking whatever else. Do you know what I mean? Like, that no one gives a fuck about. No one cares. Like, who gives a fuck what a tadpole does when you put it in fucking some sort of liquid? Like, who cares? Do you know what I mean? Who gives to... What they need to be teaching people is what to eat, what not to eat, what is good, what isn't bad, what is bad, what is good, what's bad, how you should spend your money, the way you shouldn't get yourself into debt, you know, these kind of things, and not some sort of fucking racket from teaching you just to sit down.
No, you're so right. There's no curriculum.
No, nothing, zero. About the most important thing that you own. The most important thing you own.
It's very vague, you know. So
the most important thing you own is your body. That's your that's your prized possession. Without that, you're fucked. And there's absolutely nothing to teach you about it. PE, go and play football, go and play basketball, whatever it might be. This is how you stretch, ice, this, that, the other. Like, whatever. Like, fucking.
Yeah, but especially in this especially in this day and age, where kind of our bodies and the way we treat our bodies, like, I think it's super neglected in kind of modern day society, where it's like, you know, especially if you're in a city, you need to make things happen, you need to pay your rent, everything's getting more expensive, you sleep less, you eat worse. There's, you know, at times things to eat are very inaccessible. You know, it's just like kind of this like downward, can be this really downward cycle, and then people go, why are people getting cancer when they're 50? It's because you're putting your body through absolute hell for like 40 years.
Definitely stress.
You know, not sleeping, stress, not eating well, not being happy. You know, it's like all these things. And
yeah.
You know, it's just like, and then people wonder, like, you know, not that I know everything, but like I know that, you know, some days you can wake up and not feel super well, and you just realize that I've slept 3-4 hours every night, and I've eaten like a cracker.
With like nutritional value of a fucking piece of wood.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm just living off of Fernet Branca and cigarettes.
For sure. Even though we love that, it's funny, but we love that lifestyle as well. Don't get me wrong. You're like, you know, I'm nearly 40 now, and I love that cigarette and Fernet Branca life. You know, it was fantastic. And then you start thinking, hang on a minute, I've had my gallbladder took out, I've got fucking ganglion cyst. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe, and then all you can do is you can go, you know what? No one ever told me. No one told me that maybe, like, whoa, take it easy, you know, like, no one said that, you know, like, I'm like...
Because I imagine the day and age that, I mean, you started cooking and I started cooking, these chefs just tell you to keep cracking on, and it's good to work a lot and kind of push yourself to the absolute brink of no return, you know, like, and that's the kind of thing that's getting discussed now, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
100%.
You know, less hours, kind of a better lifestyle to work, but it's because, like, chefs start dropping like flies, and then like chefs.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Of course, like it's like you lock someone in a box with no light, and then put them in a super high pressure situation, let them work like that for 20 years, and then it gets. You know, of course that's going to get to you, you know? Like
I used to always say to Chris Eagle, you know Chris Eagle, right? I think you know Chris. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to always say to Chris Eagle, you know, when we were working together, I said, you know, all I ever fucking hear about is happy chickens, happy fucking pigs, happy ducks. I said, what about fucking happy chefs? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the ducks and the chickens have all this space to roam around and they fucking sleep 10 hours a day and this, like... What about the daft innit? He's fucking sleeping nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, what about him?
Yeah.
Do you know, like, it's funny, like you say, but now it is slowly getting there. But just before we go on to that, like, I'm talking about the bread. Me and Beg just had lasagna, like, beautiful lasagna made by this Italian guy at the farmer's market. And when he makes it, I can't remember his fucking name, I wish I could, but when he makes a lasagna, he doesn't make it with mince. He braises the beef. Like, he uses cheek and he uses neck, and then he like shreds it into chunks, and then he makes
damn, that sounds good.
Yeah, man, it's way better. I've only ever had it with mince before, you know, like that. I've never had it like that, to be honest, and that's the truth. And it's absolutely fantastic. But what I had with it, me and Beck just ate, so I probably had, I definitely had more because I'm a greedy fucker. I just had about fucking 7 slices of Michael. He's called Michael James, and he owns Tivoli Road Bakery. Do you know them? Tivoli Road Bakery.
Yeah.
Fuck, that bakery is the business. I went there this morning and I got some spelt and honey bread. You know, it's sourdough. It's all sourdough, but bread and honey, spelt and honey bread. And I honestly, I ate a good. I mean, one of them big, you know, the big ones, the big fucking chunky, massive ones. You know the ones that, you know what I mean, like them big loaves, the round ones with a big X on the top and all that. I just ate like a good half of one of them. I feel good as gold, man. I don't feel bloated. I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? I could go for a run now, no problem. I feel fucking great. So what I'm saying is,
because it's probably good. It's good products.
Yeah, it's ferment. It's, you know, I think it's on a 2-day ferment, on a 48 hour. Well, I might be lying there, but it's about 24 to 48 hour ferment. You know, it's properly done. You can eat fucking half a loaf of that and feel as good as gold. No shit, I feel fucking great. You know, like. It's, you know, if you ate half a loaf of shit white, mighty white, or some shit bread, I'm going to just go back to that.
See you later.
Yeah, man, you might as well just.
You'll be on the couch, man.
Yeah, it's Netflix for the next fucking 6 hours, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like eating a tea towel.
Exactly. Man, it's interesting though. But anyway, what have you been doing? I think I've spoke to you once in the last 10 years. What have you been up to the last 10 years? You've been fucking Hong Kong, Singapore, New York.
I know.
I say you like the visa, man. How you get these visas? I don't know whose palms you're greasing, but fuck, it's working.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel, you know, I've just been lucky. Like, you know, you go from one job to the next, and along the way you meet some really amazing people that give you these really nice opportunities, and, you know, and you just kind of roll with it. And yeah, it's been an amazing ride. Like, I absolutely cannot complain. So
how did you get the visas? Like, did the businesses sponsor you, Jeff? Is that the goal?
Yeah, I mean, like, so say when I was,
New York,
like being Canadian, like, you know, you're pretty fortunate being in the Commonwealth. There's so many countries that, you know, also Canada, it's, you know, you have a lot of, you know, unity with these other countries that make it easy for you to get visas. But like New York, obviously, America is quite hard. So you have to go do a trial first, and then they have this like J1 visa that allows people from certain countries around the world to like work for a year and a half. So that's great. And I mean, like, England was super easy. Like, I mean, I think I got my visa in like 2 weeks, and then I just applied for it when I was in Canada, and they're like, you can move to England for 2 years. I said, that is amazing. How easy was that? Like,
yeah.
And then, but then also like London was like where everything kind of accelerated. I met some amazing people there, and also I reconnected with an old friend, Dave Pint, who was my flatmate when we were living in Copenhagen together, and his restaurant was just getting going at Burnt Ends, and he was like, you know, working so much, like morning to night for, I don't know, like nearly a year straight. So he was in London and asked me if I wanted to come help. And
is he the owner of Burnt Ends? Is he Jeff?
Yeah. Dave is. Yeah.
And you used to live with him?
Yeah, we were sharing this flat in Copenhagen during the time when we were both at Noma. Yeah, it was a very cool time, because there's just, you know, Noma definitely is very different now than compared to how it was, and you're just kind of living the proper chef's life. It's really, really, it's nice to see where everyone's kind of ended up. It seems like everyone's just done so great from like that generation of cooks who were there. So, but going back to the visas, yeah, I mean, and then Hong Kong as well, like, yeah, it just seemed like everything was pretty easy. Like, the businesses usually take care of that. So, I mean, if there's any like young cooks or, you know, people who are on their journey, like, I would say do not be afraid to go out there and, you know, try your luck, because chances are that you'll get a job. You know, you'll get a job or get a sponsorship, or, you know, if you're keen and willing to learn and have a really good attitude, you know, put the effort in, I think there's a lot of people like that will take you on board. So
Yeah,
same.
the attitude thing is so important, right, Jeff? Fuck, it's so important.
Yeah, but definitely like for myself, I pushed it to, maybe a little bit too far, but I'm not a young guy anymore, like, and I'm still going out in the world, but I think it's just my desire to keep going and learning and seeing new things. Like, it's kind of like it's a bit of a drug, like you're hungry to see something different. So that's what's kind of gotten me to see different things. When someone says this, like, would you like to come here? I said, wow, I would never think about going there. That sounds really cool. Why not? So, and that's how it all started.
You've been all over. So where have you been in the last 10 years? You were per se in New York?
Yeah, like I was there in New York.
And then from New York you went to...
So I guess if you start like after Australia, like when I left you, I went to New York and then I went to Toronto for a couple of years.
Oh yeah, you ran that restaurant in Toronto. You were flying.
Yeah,
you were flying there, right?
Yeah, it was a really nice, amazing experience. Toronto is like the most amazing restaurant community, and I mean that's actually a very memorable time. Like I think in the past, I would say 10 years, like that was great. So different to where I grew up in Vancouver. Like it's just like a proper metropolis, big city that like, it's a fast city with a lot of things happening, but also too, Canadians, like, it was really nice, very, very nice place to live. And then from there I went to London and spent some time, then went to Singapore.
And at London, is that, what was it? Who did you work for in London? It was, what's he called?
Nuno
Mendes. Yeah.
Nuno
How was
Mendes.
that? Was that a good?
Yeah.
Was that great? He's meant to be the nicest. Like, Tom just says he's like the nicest guy on the planet.
It's amazing. I learned. Yeah, he's amazing. Like he's an absolute, like, he's so creative and so friendly with his staff and everyone he works with, but not only that, like the talent and everything that he gathered in that place, where it was very, it was like a place that you wouldn't even think that a restaurant like Viajant, like especially when they started, it's in Bethnal Green in East London, and like I don't think anyone even went past Shoreditch at that time, and even still now, like to go all the way to Bethnal Green, like he had this like fine dining restaurant where there's no menu and you're just cooking off the cuff, like it's just it's pretty crazy.
How did you
started a lot of things. It started a lot of things, and I think a lot of people don't really give him the credit. He's really the godfather of East London. Like he
because Shoreditch now is
really
flying,
started,
isn't it?
Like when you talk about like Isaac at Clove Club and also like James at Lyle's, like he had the Loft Project, and
he used to work and the Turk, was it something Turks or something, was that them as well?
Young Turks.
Young Turks,
but it's also he really highlighted this thing, and he gave a lot of opportunity. Like there's endless amount of people I can just say and tell you that like he really gave opportunity to, like, also like Clayton Wells, like, he's also from that kind of, lineage of people that went through there, like, so yeah, I mean, like he's
so
a special.
How did you hear
person,
about him, Jeff? How did you hear about it? Why did you go there? Like, fuck, you go to London, there's so many fucking places. Why
many places.
Yeah, why did you choose that?
It was actually the first time I went to, I guess the first time I went to London was 2009. I was going there and I was just kind of connecting with people. And Clayton was somebody that I met a long time ago in Sydney while he was working at Tetsuya's. And I linked up with him just over, I think, I don't know what we were using back then, Facebook or something.
Yeah.
But he just said, oh yeah, if you want to meet up, he says, I'm working with this guy named Nuno Mendes. And that's the first time I heard of him. And after I left my restaurant in Toronto, I was just looking for the next move. And I've never worked in Europe to that point, and I wanted to go. And obviously, you and Tom and Sean, like you guys were like huge influence on me, and I had this huge curiosity about London and working in London. So I think Nuno seemed like a nice option to work. Like I like kind of
if you get a
food
contact
philosophy. Yeah.
if you get a contact and sort of recommendation, I guess you're like, oh well, and not this has been funny, but it's kind of easy. Okay, yeah, I'll just go there. My mate said he's good, he said he's good, you learn a lot, boom, job done. Why would you go somewhere else?
And also too, I didn't really want to work in a environment where people are throwing pans at you and then kind of working over 100 hours a week. I wanted to work somewhere where I learned and I got to experience the city.
And how did you find London? Did you enjoy it? What did you think of London?
It was very, I would say at first I don't say I was fond of it, but also too, I came at a time when it was fall and then the weather got worse, and then, so it was really nice though. I had amazing friends there, like Joel Humphreys.
Oh yeah.
He's at Bodega. Like he was living there, so I lived with him for like the first month I was there, and but after that I learned to love it, and I go back there frequently, and I absolutely love London, and you really feel like it's just like an absolute center of the world,
isn't it? It really, when you're there,
it's like, just it has this pulse, and I don't know a city that's that busy and. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like I say this all the time. Like I've never been anywhere where like you can walk into a restaurant and you just feel like you're in London. Do you know what I mean? Like especially at lunch, especially at lunchtime. You go to a nice restaurant at lunchtime. You're like the last. I don't do it that often these days, to be honest. But like we went to the Capitol and went to Nathan Outlaw's restaurant at the Capitol. Were you with us? I don't know if you were with. No, maybe you weren't. I can't remember. But we went there.
We went that. We had a Club Bosse's, I think.
Yeah.
Hibiscus.
Yeah. But you can just feel it. You know what I mean? You can just feel the London feel. Do you know what I mean?
No, definitely. It's one of the absolute major cities in the world and the one thing I always feel about London too, like especially if in your what we do or if you're in another job, arts, there's absolutely no ceiling with your opportunity. That's what big cities like London offer. There's a huge scope about what you do, and it reaches a lot of people if you do something special.
And there's also a lot of money there.
Everything's available. Oh, there is.
A lot of money.
It's huge.
There's people who've got money to. I know it sounds silly, but they've got money to waste, like on crazy projects. Oh, let's put a restaurant in here. Let's do this and let's do that. Because literally, they've got that much fucking money. They need to get rid of some. Do you know what I mean? It's like that crazy.
Mm-hmm. It's that's big cities, right? That's big cities in the way. But that's why, like, London is what it is. But what I love about London at the moment, I love how, East London is just, it's an amazing community there, and it's an amazing kind of energy. What's, been happening the past few years there, like with the food and kind of a creative scene. Like, it's really cool. Like, I definitely think it's changed a lot, like in the past few years. So
it's funny for me. It's quite funny, Jeff. Like when we're talking about restaurants, and you say the way it's changing and this, that, the other. Like on a personal level, like I was 22 years fucking balls deep in the restaurant business. Like I couldn't move. I was obsessed with it as much as everyone else was. Like I could, and then like literally November, I was obsessed with it. January, I never fucking looked, but I couldn't tell you who's where, what chefs where, which restaurant's doing well. I know fucking nothing about it. Now I'm just fully retail, like retail, wholesale. I've honestly, it's a really, really bizarre feeling, Jeff. Honestly, like to be like so fucking engrossed. I'm not trying to big myself up, but I was right into the restaurant business. Do you know what I mean? I knew so many people in that world and all this. Now I know fucking like the people who I knew then is all I know. Do you know what I mean? It's a really really funny thing to shut that door and then move on to a new chapter. Does that make sense?
Of course, but that's the evolution of a person, like and interest. Definitely, like there's chapters, of of your life, and sometimes there's things that you're like, I was into this and now I'm into that, like, but
Yeah, and I guess it's
do you miss it though? You miss cooking, like, and it's definitely very stimulating being, the everyday, being around a lot of people and cooking and doing service and seeing customer and like, that kind of that's a very stimulating kind of
definitely
thing to be kind of around on a day-to-day basis, and then to go to something where it's a lot less of that, I guess.
No, it is for sure. But what I'm trying to do, like I said before, I did 22 years of restaurants, cooking in restaurants, and now, I thought myself, I can do 22 years and work as hard as I did in the restaurants into business. And if I can get as far as I did in my cooking career, which no fucking no Alan Shearer or anything, but I was pretty happy where I was. I was pretty confident, comfortable in any environment. Do you know what I mean? I could hold my head up high and be and feel like I can talk to people and whatnot. Do you know what I mean? Never won any great accolades, but I still felt comfortable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I could do that in business, I'm more into the business than I am. Like the charcuterie, I'm really into. Don't get me wrong, and we're trying to do the best we can.
Yeah.
Consistency, but I'm just trying to bring my cooking skills into my charcuterie and my terrines and my pâtés. Just going generally off trusting my palate, techniques that I've learned along the way, a bit of research and whatnot, and trial and error, and just putting in the consistency that we've been drilled into me for 20 odd years, just like making sure that everyone sticks to the recipe, hygiene, just putting all them good good values in place, mentoring people, making sure it's all good. But the thing that I'm really getting the most buzz out of is building a brand. That's kind of like, I feel like I'm apprentice again, that feeling of being an apprentice it's priceless. I loved being an apprentice. I was apprentice for fucking 5 years, I think. I just loved it. I was saying to someone the other day, I was talking to a chef the other day, I said I never asked how much I was getting paid till I was like 28. Never asked. Never took a job and asked. They said, do you want to work? Like, I'll come to work. Say, yeah, right, beautiful. I never even looked at my paycheck. I just fucking rocked up, and what I got paid, I got paid.
Because you're learning. Right?
I just didn't give a fuck. Honestly, I genuinely never even knew how much I got paid half the time. Do you know? I didn't even look at my bank. As long as there was a few quid in there to fill my car up and pay me rent, I wasn't that bothered. And it's,
of course.
And it's back like that with business. Like, I'm back into that. Like, I don't care. I just.
But also too, you know what I think? What I think is that you're creating, and I think especially people in this job, like, to create is, something it's very exciting. And from what I see as an outsider looking and seeing what you're doing, it's super impressive. Like, it's something that started with an idea and you're really pursuing it. And, and there's a lot of things that come from creating a brand, because it's something that I'm super aware of right now, because I have to make my ends eventually, and I have to make my moves. And that's one thing that you really have to understand and learn a lot about and be very sharp at. And you're doing it. You have this product that's visual. You have a product that it has a strong look when over Instagram, and obviously the people that are eating it, I'm sure that they're extremely happy with it. And it's all these things, the text and the
exactly, the font, the logo.
The way things look, but that's the kind of exciting part about
definitely 100%. It's really,
but that's a thing in cooking, and that's one of the it's like you're saying, it's like the 22 years of everything that you've gathered, and now it's like you have one day I will want to apply everything that I learned and from all my experiences and everything, just like you're doing it now, just like all these other guys that are training everywhere else. It's like to learn all these things and gather all these experiences through your travel, and then you accumulate something that gives you a perspective. And also an opinion,
No, it is.
And then you can apply it,
100% is what you say. I've never really thought of it like that, Jeff. I've never really thought of it in the sense of combining all that years and then trying to turn that into a brand. I've genuinely never ever thought of that. But as you were talking then, I'm thinking our logo and things, It is, because I like to think, in the way I cook and whatnot, I really love like the white tablecloths and everything like that. But then on the same hand, I really love like really simple terrines and pates and rillettes and everyone coming around. So I kind of think with like that's coming through our brand. I get, we give great service, and it is only over the phone. And like today, someone missed an order, for instance, and they rang last night and said, "Oh, fuck, I missed an order. I need this order." So today, even though the van was out doing other things, I went and picked the order up. It's Saturday with Monty, loaded the order up, got it in. Me and Monty went and did the delivery. And even though that's just a delivery,
That's so nice.
yeah, but that again,
Yeah, that's
but
so nice you're able to do.
yeah, and that's like, that's the service that we learn in hospitality. Not like, oh yeah, we'll sort it out next week. We'll sort it out today. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that, like
Yeah.
you say, that's building your brand, isn't it? Like, do you know what I mean? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it is
Yeah.
that 22
But also
years.
too, I feel, and this is like for somebody that's known you for a while and that time we shared, like, you can never teach somebody hospitality. I've learned that along the way, and I've learned along the way is people. And when you combine somebody who's smart, passionate about their job, that delivers a product, but at the same time is a very good human and a good person, it's magic, And the thing is, you cannot teach a good human trait. Like someone's either good or they're not good with people, like, and also, yeah, you're
Yeah.
amazing with people, and you're amazing with friends, and you understand what it is to give somebody a good experience or care about a person, like, and you can't teach that. Like in this job, you cannot teach that. So that automatically elevates what you do and what makes it special.
Yeah, but like you say though, that like for young chefs and that, it everyone's got to remember it is about the customer. Like I know everyone's like, and like especially that whole thing, like, oh, waiters and this and that, and always against them. Even though it's getting less and less, that used to be more and more when we were younger. I was younger, but like it's about them. Like it really is about them. Do you know what I mean, Jeff? Like you've got to look after the customer.
Yeah,
like it's so important.
Man,
it's so important, and I think
for sure.
And
Yeah,
like it does
for
get
sure.
the hospitality. Like that's what I kind of keep drilling it to people. Like the hospitality, the importance of the hospitality is so important. And like people say, would you want your mum?
Yeah.
Would you want your mum to be eating that? Would you want your grandmother? And I always say, like, so I was in an interview the other day and by a butcher, Canning's Butchers. They come and did a bit of a thing at the shop with us, and they said like, what makes you different to all the there's a lot of charcuterie companies out there, and they said what makes you different. And I believe what makes us definitely different is the fact that we don't sell it to the shop and forget about that. That's the end of it. We think about the final customer. We think about why then people buying it. Then people could be buying it because their mother might have just flew in from Germany, for instance, and they're going to sit down and have a family meal that they haven't been able to have for fucking 2 years, and they're going to open a nice bottle of wine, and they're going to open that that product, and they're going to dig into it, and they're going to go, fuck, this is great. And that moment, if you can take a snapshot of that moment of where the mother's just flew in, they've just had a baby, the mother's just, the grandmother's just seeing their daughter who's just had a baby, and that whole thing, and then all of a sudden they get given a piece of terrine or pie or rillette, and they spread it on and they eat it, and boom, that snapshot, you're making fucking real memories. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what it's about.
Yeah.
That's what makes you.
True.
That's what makes you different is when you're thinking about that, not thinking about the dollars of selling it, and you sell it to the shop and I don't care who has it, or it's just going to be some fool who eats it, whatever. You're thinking about these moments that you're trying to make for these people. Do you know what I mean?
Amen, brother. I powered the food. I know what you mean.
Like,
yeah, that's the total truth. Like, food is so damn powerful. Like,
it really
creating
is.
memories, and that's why people are really doing a lot of work to to kind of put it on a pedestal and really express the importance of good eating and the time shared around it. Like, that's why they have these things like Mad, and they have things like to celebrate food, and all these things on Netflix, and it's kind of to get people aware of it. But I totally know what you mean. Like, it totally just it's so different when you eat something special, you know.
Exactly. And like what else I want to say as well is like I truly believe people have got it all mixed up, you know. I think it's, and I'm not knocking anyone that collects trainers or anyone that collects watches or anyone that does these kind of things, but people do look on Instagram and look at these people and think that that's important. Like, and some people think it is and some people think it isn't. But me personally, I think people think it's more important to look good than actually feel good. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think people are more concerned of eating fucking McDonald's and shit bread and shit food and this, that, the other, but having like great trainers and a fucking nice watch. Like, whoa, you've got this all fucking mixed up. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I believe. Like, that's what I truly, I think, I really think that, like, back in the day, chickens and that were like a fucking treat, you know, like you'd buy a piece of meat would be like a treat, you know, like, and people would spend proper money on a lamb and do, you know, fucking Sunday dinner, roast dinner. Oh, fucking brilliant. This is beautiful. And they're spending like a good chunk of their wages would go on Sunday dinner because that's the family time. That's the time we get a good piece of meat. We get some good vegetables and, you know, this, that, the other. Now it's like, like I'd rather have like a fucking big plasma TV or a flat screen TV or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I think the whole value...
Priorities are different, right?
Yeah, priorities are really different. But I truly believe that it's going to change. I truly believe it'll start going back the other way. Everyone will, in a few years will start thinking, this consumer bullshit's just fucking not right. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Buying stuff that just goes straight in the bin. Like, why are we spending $300 on a pair of trainers to stand in dog shit? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's the fucking point? Do you know what I mean? Like, you're better off buying...
And I never get those $300 trainers that... I mean, I'm not a huge fashion guy. Like, I dress pretty simple, but they're selling trainers that have a tag on it still, and you don't remove the tag. It drags on the ground and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. But like, eating margarine, like fucking plastic, like. Fuck, I'm not spending like, in the other like the same people in the shop buying like, oh, look at these steaks are like $10 for two. It's like, yeah, well, why are they $10 for two? Do you know what I mean? Like, how much of that is actually meat? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, where's it being brought up? Where's it being grazed? What's it being fed on? How many antibiotics is it being given? Like, oh, this daft guy in the market was selling the same bit of meat for fucking twice the price. Yeah, but why do you think you're selling it for twice the price? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, man, there's this place, because I was just back home in Vancouver, when was that, like a couple months ago, and then I also went into the States. I went to like Portland and Seattle, and man, there's some fucked up stuff that you see with food, you know, like there's a place called Costco. You know Costco?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Holy shit, that place is fucked up, man. Like, especially if you're somebody that, like, for what you're saying, and, you know, like, also like myself, like, you know, I feel like I have a good understanding of how hard it is to like make food, you know, like, and gather food and something that's like of high quality. So like when you go there, you're like, holy shit, man, like people are fucking buying like way more than that they need, like way more garbage and fucking, because the whole concept of Costco is for more is less. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's like a cash and carry almost, like, isn't it?
Fuck, it's fucked up. Like, there's a family of 4, and then, you know, like, you buy Heinz ketchup. It's cheaper to buy 3, like, you know, 1 liter. It's like 3 1-liter jugs of ketchup than going to another supermarket and just buying like a 300 ml jug of ketchup. Is the same price.
Yeah.
So people go to Costco like, what a fucking deal. I get ketchup. I get like 3 liters for the same price as 300 mils, but it's fucked up. You won't even use that ketchup. Just go straight in the bin because it goes. It goes off in like 4 years. Yeah. But it's just the mentality of surrounding yourself with more. Like, but I don't fucking get it. Like, you know, and my parents love going there because they're Asian. They love a deal. They love to get a fucking deal. Like, but I'm trying to explain to them, like, that's not what it's about. Like, you have so much garbage at the house. That
landfill and all the rest of it.
You buy all this like shitty product food, you know, like that. Like, it's just, it fucking beats me, man. Yeah. Like, and it pumps, man. There's fucking pumping. Like, Costco's like pumping. Like,
that business is fucking
I just don't get
flying. Yeah, and like it's funny you should say like you say about that, like going on to like sugar and things like that, and like I was saying the other week about like kids, like I think this is, and people might think, oh yeah, right, you're fucking stupid. I think that soft drinks, Coca-Cola, Monster, 7-Up, whatever fucking soft drinks, I think you shouldn't be able to sell them to under like whatever 15, under 16 until like after 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I think there should be a ban.
No, it's true.
Like you shouldn't
Well,
be.
these kids are juicy. They're so fucking juicy now. Like they're like these big overweight kids. Like
and also like
get in a habit.
And they're drinking them on the way to school. Like you know, kids are grabbing I see them. They're drinking like a fucking Slurpee over here, like or a massive Coke or whatever else on the way to school. And then they're meant to sit down at school and learn. And like what like. Oh, they're just not learning like the way they used to. It's like, yeah, because we're feeding them fucking full of cocaine. You know what I mean? It's one step down from fucking doing a line before fucking work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then expecting them, like, why don't we just put a ban on like time? Like, okay, we're not going to be able to ban soft drinks. You know, I understand that, but like, we shouldn't be able to sell them to kids before school. Like, it should be just not like you can't sell cigarettes and you can't sell alcohol before 11 o'clock or whatever it is. The pubs can't open. Like, it should be the same. It should be the same for soft drinks.
But it's a habit, right? And those habits become harder to crack when you're older. You know, imagine you like. There's nothing more that I like sometimes, and if I'm eating a burger, I want to have a Coca-Cola. But like, you know how bad it is to like have too many Coca-Colas. But fuck, it's just really good, and it reminds me of when I was a kid.
Yeah, I'd say I'm really lucky.
It's
I don't
like
drink.
a habit that's so hard.
Yeah, I don't drink soft drinks. Look, I've got heaps of things that I shouldn't do that I do. There's no two ways about it. But I've been really lucky. Soda and soft drinks are just not. They're just not my thing for some reason. Like I would drink
But it's like
I would drink a pint of orange, fresh orange, which is just as bad for you. Don't get me wrong. I would still drink a pint of fresh orange.
Yeah.
It's got the same sugar in, and I'm not fucking this, that, the other. But I know it's just as bad. So I have got my things. But yeah, like fuck, I'm lucky. I feel.
But say this though. Like. When I was there, stopping at like an AM PM gas station while I was driving in America, like why do you need 2 liters of like nitro purple Gatorade? Like, you know what I mean? Like why? Like, yeah, I mean, what's wrong with like 300 mils? Like this fucking thing is in a 2-liter jug. Like,
I've never even seen that. Like, I've only been to New York. I've never been to the rest of the states. But is it crazy?
Fucked up, man. Like, yeah, and all the drinks. It's like, why do you need like an absolute? Like, it's like a double tall can of Arizona iced tea. Like, I don't get it. Like, it's just.
Yeah, because you know you're going to have it. If you open it, you're going to drink it, right? I would drink it. If I opened it, I'm one of them people that I'm not going to drink half a can and throw it away. I'm going to be like, I fucking paid for this. I'm going to drink it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Take it down.
Yeah, exactly. Take one for the team for sure. Definitely. Yeah, you know what? You know what I've been on at the moment is gut health. I've been fucking obsessed with gut health. Like, I've started fermenting my own kefir. Are you aware of gut health and everything, Jeff?
Yeah. That's because your stomach needs that, right?
Yeah,
to stay healthy.
Yeah, some of the statistics. So I had Good See Kefir on the podcast, who make the fermented kefir for commercial fermented kefir. It's good. It's really good, and it's super tasty. And we were into it, but because I spoke to them and then a few other things, and I was like, I want to start fermenting my own. So I got some grains and I just did it. I started myself. It's super easy, and man, it's really satisfying. And we take turns, so it's like a 48-hour ferment is the first ferment, and then the second ferment. So you do like in your grains, you've got your grains in a jar with a liter of water, 56 grams of organic cane sugar, 2 slices of lemon, 2 slices of ginger, and a liter of filtered or mineral water, and then that is your first ferment. When you do that for 48 hours, and that's your first ferment, then you drain that liquid off, and then you put it into a bottle, and then you put whatever you want in there. So like Beck's just done the best one. She just did cucumber. And that was today. Like, and then,
really?
Then the next one is a 24-hour ferment.
That's cool.
And then after that 24-hour ferment, you can put that in the fridge, and then that's it. So all the other time it's in. But yeah, she just did this cucumber one, and she just literally took that out, put some like good chunks of cucumber in a bottle, filled it up with the 48-hour first ferment, put the lid on it, left it out for 24 hours, and drank it. Man, it is fucking honestly, if you like cucumber, I really like cucumber anyway, and that real subtleness of a cucumber. I like a cucumber sandwich, do you know what I mean? So it's good for me. But that real subtleness, you know, like it's just really beautiful. And yeah, but that gut health.
I know what else. I know what else you like a cucumber in. I know this from back in the day. I know you like a little slice of cucumber in your gin and tonic.
Yeah, man. I love it. I love a gin. I drink gin like it's fucking water, I swear to God. I've even just started getting rid of the tonic. I just go straight up gin.
Yeah, just straight gin. Yeah, nice little thin slice of cucumber.
Exactly. Plenty of ice. I like it like, no, I really do like it like that. That's not a joke. I like to drink it like that. But but the gut health, man, that is a big one. Honestly, that's a really, really, really big one that I'm trying to do more research on. And it's. Oh,
that's why like a lot of diet, like I guess like we're eliminating kind of fermented things, right? Like that's why some people in some cultures they have, you know, really good items like that. You know, like say in Korea, they do loads of fermenting. I'm sure that, you know, all that stuff like kimchi, those are really good for your digestion. And things like that.
So I eat a lot of kimchi. Like I said, I've said it before, but I got my gallbladder took out. And ever since then, I've been really looking after.
So a lot of things affect like kind of the way you kind of process, right?
Yeah, well, it's not really that much of a problem, but it's more that I actually probably shouldn't have got my gallbladder took out is more the problem, Jeff, to be honest with you. I should have done a bit more research, and I would have probably been able to fix it by looking after my gut health better. You know what I mean? I would have probably been able to turn that around instead of just going for the easy option. But like I said a couple of years ago last time, but it was like, I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago when I got it took out. I just can't remember. And I was a bit I just didn't really realise I was still in that whole hospitality, just cooking, bobbing along, grafting your ass off, and I had that mentality. And they were like, I had a gallbladder, it had a problem, and they said we can take it out and the problem be gone. I just said, yeah, let's go, you know, let's get it out. 2 weeks off, I'll get back to work, and that was it. And it's a stupid mentality. And if it had been now, I'd be like, okay, I want to do a bit more research, and because back then I didn't research anything, you know, I just heard if maybe someone mentioned something, I would just believe it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
sure. My girlfriend hates that. She hates that about like how we have this mentality of just keep plugging away, like when things are just wrong with ourselves that we just need to address, but we just don't.
Yeah,
you know, so.
It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. So that's why I'm always trying to churn on about the gut health, because I think it's good. It's depression and some of the statistics are unbelievable. Have you heard of this thing, right, that people are getting? This is no shit. It's funny I'm going to say shit, but this is no shit. Now people are getting like fucking shit biopsies. Have you seen that before? Right, so obsessed. No. Right, this is true. This is no fucking joke, right? This is really no joke. You can look this up if you don't believe me. Anyone that doesn't believe me, have a look. Say you've got really bad gut health. I can't think of it. I don't know that much about it, but like, say for instance you've got like a big problem, even depression, for instance, like bad depression is one, or like say your hair's falling out, or super bad skin, like really bad psoriasis, or just different ailments like that, right? They'll take a sample of your stool or in your stomach lining and this, that, the other, and they'll realise that basically because of your diet you've been eating, you've really stripped all the good bacteria out of your stomach. And then what they'll do is they'll get someone who's got good bacteria in their stomach, like a fantastic gut floral, like amazing. And they'll literally take their shit out of them, and then they'll put that shit into your stomach, into you. No joke. No joke, mate. You look this... You look this up, and then what'll happen is all their bacteria, all their bacteria in their shit will then go into your stomach and start bringing, regerminating all your bacteria to bring it back. Look into it. It is fascinating, man. I'm fucking unbelievable.
It's crazy.
I reckon I'm hoping one day I'll be able to sell my shit, is what I'm trying to work at. You know what I mean?
Hey, Robbie, can you backpack some of that and send it down to Germany, man?
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't been feeling that great.
So what are you doing at the moment? You said you're doing consultancy or something, are you?
Yeah, I'm just doing some, some consultancy at the moment, and I need the time, like I need a little bit of time after Hong Kong to kind of settle into here, and so I'm really happy to do this right now. Like
when you saw consultancy, what is that? Is that like
so.
designing kitchens? Is that like employing staff? Is that writing menus, putting systems in place?
This is more about designing a concept of, like about the food, and like this one that I'm doing in Paris, it's about like, yeah, doing menus and doing the kitchen setup, and like, how, the whole overall concept of how it's all gonna go down, like, which is cool. Like it's purely creative, but the one thing is like you don't get to have the thing where you're in service and cooking it and like being hands-on, but it's just something different.
So
like,
do you communicate with the head chef
before,
do you communicate with the head chef, Jeff, or is it an owner, or what is it?
The owner.
I
just communicate with the owner, and who, the owner, we kind of collaborate on the kind of idea of, for this new one that we're doing. That's going to be for I think December or January, the next opening. So it's, it's just kind of brainstorm. I help them brainstorm and kind of come up with the idea and stuff. And then now we've come up with the idea, and now we're just kind of building kind of the foundation, or the building block of like what we go with, and like what the logo is going to be like, what the menu structure is going to be like, what items are they going to be. It's just different, I've never.
Yeah, no, it sounds super interesting.
Stuff like that. So
yeah, I would love to. I would love to get into something like that myself in the future for sure.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'd be any
it's
good.
It's good practice.
Yeah,
like no, I'm sure you'd be fantastic at it. It's just a different approach, because usually we just get taught that, okay, let's do a lamb dish, and then now you have use this thing and that sauce, and this one is just different. It's like, you're essentially kind of approaching it in the kind of same way, where you have those kind of building blocks and the general core idea, and then you just kind of add or take away, and you're still being creative and stuff like that, which is
I for sure.
I kind of like it.
So are you also going, okay, we're going to be open 5 days a week, we're only going to be open for dinner, so that's 5 services. There's going to be 4 sections. You're going to get people to work this. You need to cover holidays, so you're going to need X amount of chefs if they're all working this. Do you do that as well?
I don't. That's up to the owner. Like, right, okay. I'm 100% about just food, like the recipes, the menu structure, that kind of stuff. Like the whole staffing is something that he looks after. Yeah. It's interesting. Each job's different. Like this other one that I'm doing.
Have you got a few on the? Have you got a few concepts on the go? Have you, Jeff?
Yeah, like I have a few on the go, and surprisingly, like all of them are Asian concepts. Like it seems like here in this part of the world, like people are you like,
is it the way I look? Is that what you're saying? So. Like, is it because I look a bit Asian?
That's what I'm like, man. I guess it's because I lived in Asia, and people are like, oh, he must know. But
you're like French trained, aren't you? You're actually French trained, aren't you?
French trained, and then it wasn't just like, it was just the tail end of the past few years that I've done a lot of like Asian cooking, and it's like, and also too, like being Asian, it's just a lot of the things are just intuition. Course, you just understand the way things taste.
I always say that. Sorry, let me just quickly interrupt you. I always say that about Asians. And fucking, this sounds so racist, but I think you're one of the first Asians that actually like coming from the northeast of England. You don't fucking meet that many Asians. Do you know what I mean? That's the reality. You just don't. Like, what can I do? I can't say anything else. Yeah. So, not racist or anything. I don't give a fuck what anyone does, who they are, or whatever. It doesn't bother me. We're all on this fucking journey together. But I never worked with many. But when I did start, obviously when I come to Sydney, and there's heaps of Asian chefs in Sydney, and I've worked with so many now. I started realising that, man, they've got a super advantage, like, especially, you've got the sweet and the sour and the soy and the hot and the numbing and the this and that and all the rest of it. Like, and then and then if you're learning, ruse and mirepoix and, you know, thyme and rosemary and, you know, these kind of things. And you've already been grown up with all that. It's like learning a second language when you already speak fucking Chinese. Now you're going to start learning French. Do you know what I mean? Like, just
Yeah, for sure.
It's a real,
it's
a real advantage, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I looked at it like, I mean, one thing was learning French food was that, you know, for one, I've never seen anything like it, you know, and two, it's just like you get this amazing like foundation when it comes to like making vinaigrettes, making terrines, you know, making sauces, cooking pieces of meat and fish. Like you really learn how to use your hands, and over the years, your hands become very, you know, it's like a craft. Like
definitely
this skill that you practice, and it never really leaves you. You know, if you want to learn something and then you just practice again every day, it's like your hands become in tune again. Like,
yeah.
And that's the one thing I really appreciated about French cooking, and even to this day. But what I really appreciate now in French cooking is like all those like old school country dishes and like things where the food is like not handled too much, and like I love that stuff.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
You know, joints of meat that are like slowly roasted, and like you cook it in like, you know, really nice wine, and also like regional cooking, like it's super cool. But then too, like when you do braises, and then when you do braises and stuff like that, and you're just like, why don't I just put a bottle of soy in with like, you know, a French braise, like, but you can taste the end product, like, because, you know, you understand Asian food. I think that's pretty cool, like, you know, so.
Definitely, 100%. Yeah, it's a real advantage. Anyway, yeah, go on. You were saying about these Asian the back end of your career in these Asian places that you're doing the concepts for. Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty cool. Feel like it's a definitely different job, but yeah, it's like it's something that I'm up for the next little while. So.
The good thing about them Asian, like, I don't know, there's one here in Melbourne downstairs. It's you'll know Dainty Szechuan, do you? Dainty Szechuan? Do you know that in Melbourne?
Dainty Szechuan, yeah.
Yeah, so now Dainty Szechuan have they've got heaps now. I don't know if you're aware. Are you aware of this? They've got loads now. They've got like that main one in South Yarra that was like the flagship, and then since then they've opened like this noodle bar. Like, I'm really bad with my Asian food, but it's like they're like broths. They're not like ramen. They're like, you know, the Chinese. So they're like, you know, like minced pork in like a spicy broth and noodles, or there might be like, you know, like them meat.
Oh, like dandan noodles and
yeah, and like they've got like the ones that I love are the potato noodles. Do you know them potato noodles?
Yeah.
Fuck, I love them, man. I recommend them. I've recommended them, no joke, to like 3 people, and all of them said I can't eat these. These are fucking horrible. But I've stopped recommending. I've stopped recommending them to people. But yeah, they've got this one, and no shit, Jeff. Right, you order there's like 2 chefs in there, and the place is fucking pumping. And I've ordered before. This is no shit. I've ordered. By the time I've paid, walked to my table, my food's been on the fucking table. Like, huh? How? Like, it is so fast.
But you gotta admit, though, Robbie, I think a big reason why a kind of Asian food and this kind of you know, this style of eating is really popular right now is because it also fits, I guess, business wise, and also the interests of the general person now. Like, they want something different. They want something that's, you know, of a lower price. They want something that's, you know, and if you're running the business, it takes less staff.
Yeah,
you know,
it takes for sure.
Less expensive equipment, like, to cook Asian food. So it's kind of appealing if you're somebody who's like wants to do business, or you know, wants like
definitely,
like you say, a brand or like something. So it's
for sure. 100%.
I get it why these people like want me to help them open up these restaurants, because it's like it's an opportunity for them, like, you know, to do something, and you know, it's interesting. Like,
it's like
people want to eat communal. People want to eat communal.
Definitely, like
casual too. You know,
I remember when I first went to Thailand, and I'd come from like a fine dining background in England, and you know, there's like fucking 20 chefs on the roster, and you're all there like all day, every day, and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And then I go to Thailand, and there's this woman. I'll never forget her till the day I die. I swear to God, she had like a Cala gas bottle. You know what a Cala gas bottle is? Do you? Do you call them Cala? You know, like a gas bottle, like they're normally blue.
Oh yeah.
Like a Cala. We call them
Yeah.
Cala gas bottles, doesn't it? And she's just got one of them right in the middle of this,
Like a propane tank.
Yeah, like a propane tank. Yeah,
or something.
exactly, propane tank or something like
Yeah.
that. And she's got a hob screwed directly straight on top of that. Yeah, just like a not
And
like.
just you're like,
and her
what
wok's
the
on
fuck,
top of
man?
there.
You're gonna blow yourself up.
Yeah, like this little old lady, like she's got that. Her wok's on top of there, and then she's got like a trestle table, like an L, and her wok's like in the middle
Yeah.
on this fucking propane gas thing, and she's just on her
Yeah.
own, totally on her own, and it's like this fucking on the side of the road with like inside like a canopy kind of like whatever it was, I don't know, it was just like this fucking shack. And she's just there on her own with all this like chopped garlic and leaves and mint.
It's all super fresh.
All
like,
around,
just
yeah,
chopped
exactly. And she just like
Yeah.
tick 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 poof in the on the plate, tick, 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 on the plate, tick, 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 and then like I eat this food, and I'm like, fuck, this is so tasty. And it's like one lady, her mise en place, and then like one waiter, and that's it. Like fucking cranking out like 300 covers on her own.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Exactly. And that's like sometimes you can eat better. A lot of times you can eat better than that. It's fresh, it's just cooked. It's products from our like local products that's from there, and
probably come from the farm that morning or whatever, like fresh corn.
And you get the ultimate like experience. Like this can only happen here because I'm sitting on the side of the road on this stool, and
exactly that. Exactly that.
Yeah.
But this fucking lady just there with that not even a stove, no fucking nothing. That's it, like one like it's like a bucket of water that she washes it, like scrubs a wok in and just tips it back in, and it's like it blew my mind, and that was a big moment. I thought, like it doesn't always have to be loads of people fucking around with stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like too many hands on one thing. It was fascinating. But going back to what you're saying, it's funny that you're saying in Paris. That's funny, like that really makes me think, Jesus, things are really changing. Like you're putting these Asian concepts in Paris. Like fuck,
Paris is like it's absolutely hungry for more Asian concepts. Yeah, like it's after I feel like I've spent so much time there in the past year and a half, and like it seems like the places that are really doing well, and a lot of people like are wanting to eat too. Like it's all these kind of places. Like this other place that I did some work with, it's called CAM, CAM, and my good friend Isu, who's Isu Lee, Korean young guy, like he started cooking with Jowett and Dan Hong, and then moved to Hong Kong to do some work there with Zhao. He's gone on to do one of these amazing restaurants and projects, and it's Asian. The menu's more or less set up like a wine bar like menu where you only have like 7 items, but no lie, this restaurant, like the owner built all the furniture, didn't do anything to the place. There's no fancy anything, like they didn't do anything to the decor, just kept it natural. And this place is one of the hottest restaurants in Paris. Like,
and what's the food? Is it Korean? Is the food Korean? Is that what you're saying?
It's very personal, like, and it's very mixed, but it's
mixed from his experience. Mixed from his experience.
His experience, like stuff from Hong Kong, stuff from Japanese stuff, this and this, and like
his real
very much in like, I guess. Yeah, and Isu's fashion, and his own style. But it's just people want that. They want to break up their kind of eating week with something that's a little bit different than your, not saying like a gastronomy meal is bad. It's just there's a lot of it. Like you eat it all the time, and you want to eat something a little bit different. Like there's this ravioli, they call it ravioli, but it's actually a dumpling place in Paris. It's like, I think it's like a Shandong style dumpling place. And this place is like so busy, man. Like, and like people just want to eat that. Like it's simple. You have freshly rolled, boiled or pan fried dumplings, and that are super cheap. You could share it between, all these people. Like you have, your cucumber salad and, all these other like, pickled wood ear mushroom salad, and then a few different types of dumplings, and that's it. And then you spend like, 10 to 15 euros for lunch, and that's it.
Yeah.
And you're super happy and content. Like the content level, I think it's what Asian food really brings you. Like, when you talk about Korean, Japanese, or
you feel like you're getting value for money, right?
Chinese.
You never come out of there thinking, oh, I got ripped off, do you? You always come out going, that was really good value. That was awesome. It tasted unbelievable. The service is probably a bit iffy, to be fair, but like it's like you don't really care because it's like, you have a big feed and everyone gets the bill, and like we split the bill. And it's like, if everyone just puts in $25, you're like, $25? I've been here all fucking night. Do you know what I mean? That's what it's like, though, isn't it? It really is.
You're like, I had 6 beers. I brought my own bottle of wine.
No, but that's that.
I ate till I couldn't eat anymore, and
It's funny, like what you say, like it's what people want now. That's really, and again, that's really interesting. Thinking of that, like, at this time, like, people are hustling. You hear that, oh, I'm just hustling, and people have got like. They've got a fucking online shop and they're working full time, and I think that younger generation, that the one down for I feel like I'm 24 still. I'm nearly 40, but like, and 40 still only young. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm old and I'm fucking done. There's still plenty of life left in this old dog, but I'm just saying, like, the 22, 23, 24, 25-year-olds, they're like really like entrepreneurial is kind of is a new hip thing, and people like, especially like with Bitcoin. Look, I go on these mad rants like I know what I'm talking about, but I fucking genuinely don't. I just think about it and think, fuck it, I'm just going to say this and see what happens. But like, and what I think is like, people are like hustling, there's the Gary V's of the world, and people are investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and all this kind of thing, and working. They don't want to be going out and spending big dollars on food like that. Like you're saying, like they still want to go out and be and socialize.
And time. People don't have 3 hours to give up.
And
also people want to eat what they want to eat, and people don't want to be absolutely stuffed to the brim. Like, I don't know. Like, I obviously what my perspective is different than other people's perspective. But it's just my observation. Like, my observation is that you have to figure out a way how to create a restaurant, deliver an experience, but also give choice. And also let people sit in somewhere that is not over the top or not this and that. Like, that's just my perspective.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's a fine line, isn't it? It's a fine line of that, like, like wanker hipstery. Do you know what I mean? Like you like you don't want to like just isolate the people. Like,
you want everyone to want to go to your place or want to eat your products and stuff like that. Like, but it's an exciting time for food, and I really do believe that, because what I like is food more and more as the years are progressing. Like, the 3-star chef is looked at the same as the person who makes noodles at a small little shop. They're both respected equally, I find now, and the
do you think the Michelin guides helped with that, Jeff?
The Michelin guide, like I don't like, but I think it's brought light to kind of, if you were to say like in Singapore, like how they're giving hawker centers like kind of like the same.
That's
like
that,
you imagine.
That's what I am saying.
Like the $2 kind of soy chicken, is the same like standard as this and that. I think I think they're both equally as special. Like when you look at like the text and what it says, what a 1-star is, or what a 3-star is, or this and that.
Yeah, like, as in like worth the travel, worth the journey, worth going out the way for.
But to me, it's not consistent. And personally, like if I had a restaurant, I wouldn't want a star. Like I would just want a restaurant that people like to go to, and it has a lot of people coming to, and like all types of different type of people. Like that's what I would rather have than a star. Like, but I find there is like this prestige to it, because cities like Singapore and stuff, like people want that. Like people want stars, and people want to have prestige, obviously, and
definitely. But I think it's very
crazy though.
you've got to take your hat off to the Michelin Guide in the sense of they probably copped a lot of shit back in the day when they were giving Michelin stars to these kind of people, in Japan and, to the little places in Japan and, all the pubs in England, for instance. And
they're not a star in
they're
this
not,
restaurant.
People were saying
has a star,
that
doesn't have a star, and that's not a 2-star, that's not a 3-star. It's like, fuck, who cares, man? Did you have a good time?
Yeah, exactly. No, that is true. But I think you've got to take your hat off to the Michelin Guide. I think you've got to take your hat off to the Michelin Guide in some aspect, just to say, they obviously could see that the future was changing, so they had to change with it. Do you know what I mean? I think you've got to respect that as well.
Of course,
yeah, for sure,
yeah,
100%. But like I said,
then there's
go on. Sorry.
No, there's just a lot of guides now, and you don't know what's good, especially if you're a general person that can't even tell if food is good or bad. You go to a place because it has a star, or it's one of the top 50 restaurants in the world or whatever. But I didn't even know how you even judge what's the top restaurant in the world. I know I like the schnitzel place down the road. I think it's one of the greatest places on the face of the earth.
Yeah, no, it's true. There's a Thai restaurant around the corner from us, which I get a mixed pad Thai, and I get this duck salad, and it's just, honestly, I eat and I've been here for a long time now, but I must have been a good 60, 70, 80 times easily. I went every Tuesday for about 5 years. I've been a lot of times, and and not once have I been disappointed. It's been 100% consistent. The dressing's fantastic. It's it's a Singaporean guy and a Thai lady. And it's just absolutely beautiful. For me, that's fucking great food. You can't get better than that. So, I know what you're saying.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're never going to get recognised, they're just not. It's an interesting thing. But like I was saying before, I texted you earlier and I was saying about manufacturing. I can't help thinking that I honestly believe that the future for some chefs, and I keep banging on about this as well, about the future of some chefs is maybe not restaurants, it's manufacturing. I think there's a lot of room for people to go into manufacturing food. I think that's going to be a big business for people, and I shouldn't be saying, oh, you should get into it, everyone, but I can't help myself to say I think people should be getting into it, or at least considering it. Not even if you're a full-time chef. So I had Matt Wilkinson on my podcast the other week, and we were just saying, what do you do when you're 45 and you're a chef and you realise that you're still on the line as a chef? 45, your shoulders gone, your feet are fucked. It's a hard graft. You know what I mean? It's a hard old fucking game. But I'm saying, even if you're a chef now when you're 25 or 27 or 30 or whatever, and you think, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this till I'm 50 or 60. Maybe you should start thinking about a couscous company or a fucking risotto company or whatever. It doesn't really, a marinade, a rub, a sauce, a dressing, or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. Look at the pasta, whatever, and maybe look at either
It's pretty cool though that the different avenues you can go down with food though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I seen one
manufacturing or
there's a lady in America. Just to cut you off there real quick, but there's a lady in America that's doing, I can't remember her name. She's doing frozen cookie dough. Right, you get 12 in a packet, you take it out, you put it on the thing, you bake it 180 degrees, 8 minutes, whatever it is, comes out, boom, hot cookies, ready to go cookies. Do you know what I mean? Something like that is fantastic. What a great idea. You don't have to do anything. Yeah. It's good. It's good stuff. Good almond meal. Good vanilla. Good. They're not cheap, but it's all good products, and you're putting your philosophy, your food philosophy, into that product. Do you know? It doesn't have to be cheap flour or anything like that. It can be all fucking single origin this or whatever it might be. Do you know what I mean? And chefs can get into doing that. And on the side of working, you can work and get, or you've got to work an extra couple, maybe one of your days off or one of your afternoon mornings off. You've got to do a bit of stuff, but you can get a manufacturer, you can get a label, and you can spend a bit of time and build this brand slowly as either a little bit of a backup plan if it doesn't work out, or maybe that'll start off and you can just go into that full time and that's it. Do you know what I mean?
Manufacturing is actually a very interesting thing. I think we talked briefly about it yesterday.
Yeah.
when we were texting and stuff like that. But like I said, one of the places that really kind of impresses me every time I go to England is Marks and Spencer's. Like I generally, I look at all their products and stuff that they serve, the variety of a quick just meal that you can just get, and things that are bottled and things that are with their label, and it's way above average than this like stuff that I generally see at a grocery store that's canned by Campbell's or like a massive company or something. You know, it's
like a lamb shank, isn't it? They've got the different ranges, like the gastropub range or the Spanish or European range. I can't, you know, it's been a while since I've been home, but I remember the gastropub range, and that was like lamb shank, and there was like a fucking shepherd's pie was in that range, and you know, different ones, and the good quality, like beer battered chips and this, that, the other, or duck fat chips, and like, you know what I love at Marks and Spencer's? I love this concept, and I would love to do it myself, but it just wouldn't. People just aren't into it here. Is the sandwich spreads? Have you seen the sandwich spreads at Marks and Spencer's? They are yeah. So like they're fresh. It's like what you'd get in the sandwich, like fucking, you know, tuna, spicy tuna, or it might be like coronation chicken, or it might be egg salad, egg and cress. And it's just in a tub, and then you just get your nice sourdough that you get from the bakers or whatever, and you take that in, and at lunchtime you just spread it on your bread, put it together, boom, you've got your sandwich. Not a soggy sandwich. Do you know what a great idea?
But it's perfect for London because so many people are on the go. You know, it's a very demanding city to live in, and that place is there, and why there's so many Pret a Manger place. Because people are constantly on the go.
Miso soup from Pret a Manger. I fucking love that miso soup. I swear to God. I love that.
Yeah. I love the shrimp. Is it the shrimp salad sandwich?
Yeah, like the shrimp, as in the prawns, like the little Greenland prawns. I love them. I love that. You know what I love about Pret as well is they do the 3 halves. Have you noticed? Have you seen that before?
Yeah, the 3 halves.
Yeah, so you can get like a chicken.
They're like, where does that other one go?
And you know, Pret, Beck's dad, you know, obviously, you know, Beck, my wife, her dad works with the homeless people, helps the homeless out and like rehouses them and helps them all out and all the rest of it. And Pret a Manger every night donate all their sandwiches that's left over to the homeless shelter. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I don't even think they advertise
that. You gotta think for a second though, when you're someone like Pret, or you're somebody like Marks and Spencer's, or a company that's similar to that sort, like you reach, if you were to do it in a way like, you know, that's with your ethos or ideals, man, you reach a lot of people. Like, you know, you reach then instead, if you know, which is amazing too, but if you have like a 12-seat restaurant that only like elite diners and people can nab a rezo and experience, like, you're just kind of like, what type of work are you doing?
Yeah,
you know, that
definitely. Definitely. 100%. Yeah. Like I said that, I've said this before in the past. It's funny, you brought up quite a few points that I thought about in the past as well. And like you say, again, we've reverted to the catwalk before, but it's the same as like art. Like, do you want to paint a picture that sits in some rich guy's house that only like his friends and family wants to see? Or do you want to paint a mural on the side of a wall that millions of people pass every day? Do you know what I mean? Like, they're both amazing, but like, what do you want to? Do you want to impact loads of people, or do you want to just impact the few rich that can afford it as well? That's another way of looking at it. And I was speaking to a guy the other day, and he was saying like, cook. This is fucking a great idea. He goes, well, a great saying. He said, cook for the rich and go broke. Cook for the poor and go rich. Grow rich. It's so fucking true, man. It's so true. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, if you're trying to have a one-star...
Definitely more... There's more poor people in this world than rich people, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's so true. Yeah, it's a funny old thing, yeah. Well, listen, I'm going... Yeah, please. Jeff, awesome to talk to you. Lovely to talk to you anytime.
Man, love you, Robbie. Mate, it's so nice to talk to you, man.
And you, good luck with everything that you're doing. And yeah, let's fucking do this again in a year or something. And yeah, keep me up to date. I'll keep some photos. And if there's anything,
Definitely.
I can help you with, Like I said right at the beginning, I don't know what I'm fucking doing. I'm just listening to people on podcasts. Gary Vee, listen to Gary Vee. If you don't listen to him, listen. If you're looking to start a business, listen to Gary Vee. I'm telling you, Jeff, man, he is the fucking master of the marketing. I'm telling you, Gary Vee is the man.
I will, man.
He is the man. So listen, look, if I can help you in any way, shape, or form.
Tell Beck I said. Tell Beck I said hi too.
Yeah, of course. Love you, brother. Take it easy.
Talk to you and catch up. So.
If you enjoyed this week's episode, please tell a friend or give us a rating or review on your podcast app. It all helps to get more listeners. Thanks. Until next week, have a good one.